One reason that I explore in the book, which is a story some of you may know quite well, is the Pokemon phenomenon. Right? 1996 was a crucial year when Pokemon came to the United States. And I spent a lot of time interviewing the people who made Pokemon from the very beginning, made it from scratch. I talked a lot to the people who brought it over to America. And in fact, it's such a fascinating story because one element of the Pokemon story is actually a lesson for the anime industry. Because they could not read the contract that the American distributor sent to them. One of these thick American legalese contracts, right? It's actually pretty hard for me to read contracts like that, which is why I have an agent. But they couldn't read it, and they didn't have a legal team at all. They didn't have a legal team on the staff. But what they could decipher was that someone in America was going to pay them roughly $10 million, like that, just wire it over there, for Pikachu. But they're little guys, right? They're little pocket monsters. So, they signed it. They signed it away. Well, those of you who know how America works, they signed away the subsidiary rights, as they call it in the business, to the Pokemon franchise. They didn't realize this, in fact, until the morning after the weekend that the first Pokemon movie opened in America. And some of you might remember that the opening weekend of the first Pokemon movie, it was #1 at the US box office. Blew everything else away. The #1 movie in America. And they woke up in Japan. This is how Masakazu Kubo, who is the executive producer of Pokemon, told me the story. They woke up in Japan, they opened the Nikkei, which is the Japanese business paper like the Wall Street Journal, except more powerful than the Wall Street Journal. They open it up and there's this headline, first Japanese movie ever to be #1 at the box office on opening weekend in America. And their first reaction was, yeah, right? Congratulations, let's go out for drinks, They just were screaming with joy. Omedetou gozaimasu, as they say in Japan, right? Great, congratulations, and so on. And then he said it died down a little bit in the office, and somebody said, when do we get paid? Right? Because they knew if you have the #1 movie in America, you get rich, right? You can go golfing. So they're looking at each other in the office wondering when's the money going to come in. And in Kubo's explanation, that was when they realized, oh my God, where's that contract? What happened? And what they had done, of course, is signed away subsidiary rights to the American distributor. Again, probably some of you already know the company called 4Kids, who made the bucket load of money off of Pokemon in the late 1990s. In fact, the head of 4Kids, and I don't mean to demonize 4Kids, because as Kubo has said to me many times, that was our fault. His take on it is, if you do business in another country, you got to learn how that country does business, right? If you're an American company doing business in Japan, you have to learn a whole different set of business rules in order to be successful. So Kubo-san blames himself and his co-workers, his colleagues. But the end result is that these millions poured into 4Kids, and the head of 4Kids, a man named Alfred Kahn, became very rich. And in fact, if you go out to his university, which I think is Long Island University, there's the Alfred Kahn Center for the Arts, named after him, because presumably he gave them a lot of money. So that story, the Pokemon story, is one of the crucial stories in the book because it not only starts to explain this explosion in America. Now, of course, a lot of American kids who were fans of Pokemon and got the trading cards and bought into the whole triangle of anime, games, and cards and merchandise, they would move on from Pokemon. They would leave it behind, right? But what Pokemon introduced them to was a distinct style of animated storytelling, with a couple of crucial Japanese components. One of them being that the illustration is based on the line, or the outline of characters. Many of you know that manga, which is the print base for anime, is mostly printed in black.